The only thing that we're interested in is putting money in your wallet. If you want to bet the fights, if you want to have a little bit of action, you are in the right place. With my partner, Ian Parker, I am Brett Okamoto.
We're ready to rock between our parlays, our props, our straight picks. It's time to make money. Let's go.
Yes, sir. It is a Thursday, and that can only mean one thing. It is UFC Best Bets time for a UFC Fight Night right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. After being on the road for the last 2 weeks, it was Miami, it was Kansas City. UFC Octagon is back in its hometown, home state of Nevada for a Fight Night heavyweight main event between Curtis Blaydes and Sergei Pavlovich. And we are here to discuss it all from a gambling perspective. Hello, everybody. My name is Brett Okamoto, alongside, of course, Ian Parker, our resident gambling expert, and we are going to be talking about all things Sergei Pavlovich and Curtis Blaydes. But before we do that, Max Holloway had himself a great week last week in Kansas City, and so did Mr. Parker. Ian, talk about last Saturday, your performance on the UFC Fight Night there, Max Holloway and Arnold Allen.
You know, Brett, when we do a little 5-0 sweep, we got a new little prop for the show. It's my new little Cash King money thing here. So we'll get a little money action going, all right? And we're going to do it again next week. I knew you would love that. I sat there and I said, what can make Brett so happy and just smile before another week of this show? And it was this bad boy. Brett, I got one coming your way too. Don't worry. Let's just have some fun. I can't even control this thing. The money just keeps flying out. But yeah, last week, look at that smile on his face. Last week, 5-0. Let's do it. Max Holloway, the Blessed Express. He did it once again. If it's not against Alexander Volkanovski, I don't see who beats him. Jacoby Murzakanov. Jacoby gave us a little scare at the end of round 2, but he came through to start round 3. Bill Algeo, that man fights for your money, and boy, did he last week. Royval Nicolau, we didn't even need the fight to not go the distance. That didn't even go half of the first round. We hit that, and Jillian Robertson looked fantastic in her new weight class, getting that submission win. Let's do it again. I would like another sweep. I kind of like the feeling of sweeping bets.
Yeah, sweep is not too bad. And the cheesy gimmicks, man, I'll allow it if you're going 5-0 on your best bets. You can bring on whatever prop, whatever gold-plated money gun that you have sitting in your house somewhere for some reason. You can go ahead and bring it on the show if you're going 5-0 on your best bets. So let's talk about this weekend's UFC Fight Night card. You can see it on ESPN Plus. Again, it's coming to you from Las Vegas, heavyweight main event between Sergei Pavlovich and Curtis Blaydes. Big-time heavyweight fight, important heavyweight fight. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, again on ESPN Plus. It's a 5-fight main card, and in addition to the main event, you got Brad Tavares, Bruno Silva, Jared Gordon coming back off of a fight that a lot of people thought he won against Paddy Pimblett. He is again an underdog here against a very entertaining Bobby Green. And 2 more fights to round out that main card. Ian will be providing his picks on all of these. But let's break down a little bit in depth this heavyweight fight. And I gotta say, Ian, I mean, I feel like maybe some of our viewers are like, man, the only advice Brett ever gives out is to not bet something. But this is one of those fights that I wouldn't touch it personally, because you've got a guy like Curtis Blaydes who has been in the UFC for what now, 7 years. He's only lost 3 fights, and that's been to the big sluggers, the Francis Ngannou, the Derek Lewis. You've got a guy like Pavlovich who is just putting people away in under a minute. I just feel like neither one would surprise me, man. If Pavlovich were to come out and get it done in the first round, wouldn't be surprised. If Blaydes grinds him out 5 rounds, dominates him, would not surprise me either. It feels like coin flip to me, so I guess maybe you take the underdog, but I don't feel great. I don't feel great about Pavlovich standing up to those takedowns that we really haven't seen him against a guy who can take him down like Curtis Blaydes. So I'm scared. I'm just going to tell you I'm scared of this main event. What do you think about trying to bet this main event?
I'm scared of Sergei Pavlovich just in general. We stood next to him in his last fight, and he just looked at me, and I was like, yeah, this guy is one scary individual. You know what? There's some interesting stats with these two. We talk about someone in Curtis Blaydes who has the most takedowns in heavyweight history, and a lot of people think that he could be the guy that can match up the best against John Jones because of the wrestling, how elusive he is, and his striking has come a long way. He's done a really good job evolving, making himself a little bit more unpredictable. However, his fight IQ is really strong. He does not have an ego. He literally says, I do not care if the fans boo me. I want the win. I need the win. And he showed that against someone, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, where he laid and prayed for pretty much the entire fight. We saw it against Volkov, where he did it almost 5 rounds. In this fight against Pavlovich, we are seeing someone in Pavlovich who is just an absolute juggernaut. His debut in the UFC, he got knocked out by Alistair Overeem. It was the tie clinch. He got swept, put on his back, and it was over from there. 5 in a row, but he hasn't fought anyone who has been able to threaten with takedowns. You know, Tai Tuivasa coming off a bad knockout. Derek Lewis is certainly not a wrestler. And if you go and watch those two fights, Pavlovich might as well close his eyes and just swing and hope that he hits first. And if you're going against him, pray that he doesn't hit you first. Against a guy in Curtis Blaydes, I don't think he's going to be able to really impose his will that way. You know, Blaydes does not get into brawls. He's not the guy that, you know, smiles when he gets hit and says, oh, let's do it again, points in the center of the cage. He's not going to do that. He is going to throw calf kicks. He's going to try to slow Pavlovich down. And in a smaller cage, I think that truly favors the wrestler who's going to push the cardio. I do understand you being nervous about betting this fight. I get it. It obviously seems like it's going to be a Pavlovich knockout or a Blaydes wrestle fest. And for me, I'm more confident in a Curtis Blaydes wrestle fest than I am in someone in Pavlovich, who I don't think has fought anyone too well-rounded just yet. So give me Curtis Blaydes in this one.
Yeah, it's just a tough one, man. And I wonder how Vegas even felt about this one. You know, I think that they kind of feel like they have to make Curtis Blaydes the favorite because of the stylistic sort of advantages that you might look at. But, I mean, Sergei Pavlovich, and you look at his career in the UFC, he has never come in as the betting underdog. This is the first time in his UFC career that you can get him at plus money. And like you mentioned, he's got a record of 5-1. So you almost feel slightly like maybe I should take this guy because of the value the first time you're getting it in his UFC debut, or in his UFC career. So what do you think just about the line in general? Is there anything that surprised you? And I guess, would you even consider maybe taking a Pavlovich like to get it done in the first round, and then but also coming back on the back end and taking Blaydes to win the fight, so that maybe you kind of cover both scenarios there?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. You know, I don't see this fight going past 2.5 rounds. So if you get a good line on that, you can throw it in a parlay. If you like Pavlovich and you want to get a little greedier with that number, him in the first round seems to be something he's doing. The odds don't surprise me at all, to be honest. Blaydes should be the favorite here. Pavlovich's strength of schedule has not been all that strong, to be fair. You know, and look, wins by finish. It's interesting that minus 135 for Blaydes to finish him. What Vegas is telling you is that his wrestling style will drown out the gas tank, and eventually he'll get a finish probably on top. I do see that happening in rounds maybe 3-4 if it gets that far. But again, if you're on Pavlovich taking a shot early at plus 165, that's the only way he gets it done in my book. Listen, if Pavlovich wins this fight by decision, whoever picks that, good for you at plus 1,600. I don't see this fight going 5 rounds.
Yep. Yeah, neither do I. Either a quick finish on the feet for Sergei, or if Blaydes is able, 25 minutes is a long time to spend on the ground trying to defend the ground and pound of Curtis Blaydes. Okay, let's go quickly to this middleweight co-main event. It's Brad Tavares taking on Bruno Silva. Brad Tavares, kind of an interesting one here. I mean, he's already up to age, or I shouldn't say already. It seems like this guy's kind of still young. He has sort of that young type of personality, but he's 35 now. He's had a long UFC career. And lately, he has not been super active. He pulled out of a fight in January. Now here he is against Bruno Silva. He is the favorite, and Bruno Silva coming off back-to-back losses, but it's been against, you know, some good competition. Gerald Meerschaert with a lot of experience, and of course Alex Pereira. You're not holding that too much against Bruno Silva. He is a finisher. Do you like his finishing ability against Brad Tavares, or you like Tavares just the seasoned vet to get this one done?
You know, I don't love the odds here either way. It's one of those things where I think a lot of people might take Bruno Silva because of his knockout power, but Brad Tavares is one of the more durable guys in this weight class. We've seen him take shots, come back and win. You know, against Duplessis, that fight was a war. And Duplessis just had a little bit more in the tank. I think for Tavares, if he could just stop the early onslaught of Bruno Silva. If Bruno Silva doesn't get the knockout early, I think Tavares could wrestle him. I think he kind of work on that gas tank. I think he's actually going to have better leg kicks. Silva kind of throws his kicks, leaves his hands down, his chin up. I think this is an opportunity for Brad Tavares as a seasoned veteran, even though, as you said, at age 35, will be a good name to get on his belt and to kind of make some moves in the division. For Bruno Silva, this may be a winner-go-home situation here. I kind of like Brad Tavares. I just think he's got a better fight IQ. His durability may frustrate Silva. So I'm going to take Tavares here.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the pick. The minus 165, a little higher than I was expecting, but Tavares definitely should be the favorite here. Maybe if you want to get a little greedy, you take Tavares by decision. I don't know. That's something that I might consider. But either way, yeah, Brad Tavares, the favorite. Not surprising, but man, minus 165, a little higher than I thought. Okay, let's talk about the rest of this 5-fight main card. What are the rest of your picks for Saturday, Ian?
Bobby Green against Jared Gordon. You know, Gordon, I did think beat Paddy Pimblett. However, he's fighting someone in Bobby Green. Just a very hard style for anybody. You know, we saw Green recently get knocked out by Dober, but Bobby Green was winning that fight. I like Bobby Green here. That line's a little high. We're going to throw him in our parlay. Give me Lucinda over Brogan Walker, also another parlay piece. Last but not least, this fight is the curtain jerker. Brett, I think it's going to be very fun for as long as it lasts. Jeremiah Wells, super intense finishing machine against Selmasberger, who does not shy away from a brawl. I'm going with fight does not go the distance. And if I were to lean one way, I think Jeremiah Wells has got more tools to win, but that one's going to be an absolute banger.
Yeah, I agree. Great way to start off that main card. Okay, let's roll straight into the prelims. What do you got for those prelims you can find on ESPN+.
All right, let's hit it. I like Ricky Glenn here. Giagos is a tough fighter. I think Glenn, in his latest fights, has just been fighting a little bit smarter. I think he gets it done. Give me Montel Jackson inside the distance. Hanayaya does not fight very often. The age is getting up there. You know, he finds ways to win, but against someone in Jackson, I think this is going to be Jackson's fight to really shine. I'm going to lean Norma Dumont here. You know, if you want to play a safer play, fight to go the distance, I just think she's got more tools. I'm going to go with Junior Tafa over Muhammad Usman. You know, we saw Usman was losing that last fight, so he had that one jab knockout. I just think that Tafa is a better kickboxer, and this fight will stay on the feet. I'm going to go with Francis Marshall here over William Gomez. I'm also going to go Karine Silva over Zombie Girl, Priscilla Cochera. That minus 200 is the highest I would go. Silva is an absolute finishing machine. Cochera got power in her hands, just not the smartest fighter. And last but not least, I'm going with Bad Gariel at minus 150 over Brady Highstand.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of sides there. Not too many props, so let's get to a prop. What is your prop of the night for UFC Fight Night this week?
I'm going to go back to Karine Silva against Zombie Girl here. I think she gets the win. I think she gets it done inside the distance, but I'll take it a step further. I think she's going to get this done by submission. We saw against Shillian Robertson. Zombie Girl just did not have great submission defense. This one, she should be able to take the fight to the ground. She's got a great guillotine choke. She's got a good rear naked choke. She gets in the back, really smooth transitions. I think this is someone to look out for the division. So buy sub at plus 150. We're going to go with that for my prop of the night.
All right, let's keep the picks rolling. What are we doing for Parker's Parlay for this UFC Fight Night here in Las Vegas?
Parker's Parlay has not been strong lately, but I'm hoping this one breaks that cold streak. We're going Bobby Green on the money line over Jared Gordon. I think his boxing, his output, what will get it done there. Lucinda over Brogan Walker. I do not see a way that Walker wins this fight. Minus 340 is exactly why. Montel Jackson, he just needs to get it done against Yaha. And last but not least, Rosa Dumont over 2.5 rounds. Between the two of them, the last 5 fights, Dumont to decision. All of Rosa's UFC fights, all 6 to decision. That will get us a plus 169 payout. Let's get back on that winning streak with the parlay.
I like it. The parlay has been a little bit of the kryptonite so far in 2023, but we will turn it around. Best bets, however, has been pretty terrific as of late. What do you got for best bets this weekend?
We'll love a back-to-back sweep. We're going to start off. I'm going to go with Curtis Razor Blaydes here. You know, the main event, I understand, Brett, what you're saying. It is a scary one, but I have a hard time shying away from playing a main event, especially one that may have the top contender implications at some point if we ever get Steve versus John Jones. For me, the wrestling, the fight IQ, and the leg kicks of Blaydes has got to be the way to get it done over Pavlovich. Selmasberger Wells, the fight to not go the distance. I just think between the two of them, someone's going night-night before that last bell rings. Montel Jackson inside the distance. Karine Silva, you're going to see that name a lot on this card. I think she is a very talented fighter going against someone in Zombie Girl who just plods forward. I believe she gets it done. And last but not least, I'm going with Bat Gariel here. I think he has been training with Henry Cejudo. He's going to turn it around. I like his striking. I believe he gets it done.
All right, I like it. You went with the best bet on Curtis Blaydes. It's going to be one of those ones, man, where you just are real nervous during that first round when Sergei starts plodding. But as soon as Blaydes gets that takedown, the heart rate is going to drop, and you're going to feel very comfortable taking a best bet on Curtis Blaydes. Okay, one more round of business here, and that is our long shot parlay. I think we've come close a few times this year, have not quite hit it just yet. It'd be a great time to pull this one out this Saturday. What do we got with the long shot parlay?
I'm going to go Jeremiah Wells by KO or TKO. We've seen it before. He's got really good loopy hooks, and we've seen Selmasberger take shots against Alex Morano. He got dropped a bunch of times. We're going to go there. Back to the well on Montel Jackson by KO or TKO. I can't see him not getting this done with the reach. He has a huge reach advantage, and Yaya gets hit a lot. Norma Dumont by decision. If she wins, it's going to be by decision, so I kind of love that play there. And Karine Silva, that name just keeps popping up across the board, inside the distance at plus 110. At plus 3211 on this one, I would love to hit this long shot, Brett, and get this streak started as well.
It does, man. Between the parlay, the long shot parlay, everything else, you got plays. Even the best bets, you got them sprinkled up and down this card. So you'd be an invested viewer for this entire UFC Fight Night, which again is on ESPN+. You can find the main card at 7 p.m. 4 p.m. Pacific. As always, thank you for watching UFC Best Bets. I am Brett Okamoto. He is Ian Parker. Hopefully we win you some money this weekend, and we will continue doing so all year right here on the ESPN MMA YouTube channel. So continue to tune in, and until then, we will see you next week.